Gold Squad TV. All right, man. I had to take some time to really think about this. I really want to have a well thought out. I really want to make this video a well thought out video. I don't want to make this an emotional video. My last video, I was extremely angry after the game. That's a normal thing you guys are going to notice from me. I'm a Celtics fan. I have a lot of passion. I'm also a guy that used to play basketball and was very, very competitive in his day. Whether I was good or not really important. But I was very competitive. I come from that no layups rule days. So Tom Thibodeau's from my town. He's from around my way. Hard hitting. And Tom Thibodeau was asked a question when he became the general manager of the Timberwolves, along with being the coach. Obviously, it didn't quite work out for Tom over there in Minnesota at the time. I think he might have came a little too early in that process of building that team for that moment. But he says something that has a lot to do with what we're seeing now. Are we going to wait for potential? If we're going to sit here and base things on potential, how long are we going to base things on potential until we actually see some action? You'll be waiting for potential. He basically said, you'll be waiting for potential to fulfill itself forever if you're holding on to potential. Like we try to base players, GMs, general managers, president of basketball operations, big guys that are in the offices always base who they pick and who they sign or who they trade for based on upside and potential versus what the reality is. Michael Jordan also said a very similar thing when he played, where it's like these guys are getting paid off their potential, but they're not fulfilling their potential. When they get paid, they're getting paid of what they could possibly be 3 or 4 years down the line. So my point is, look at Jaylen Brown and look at Jayson Tatum right now. Just look at both those players right now. Let's take team element out of there right now. Just talk about individual players. Jaylen Brown at the moment is outplaying Jayson Tatum by a mile. Jaylen Brown is going in the off season. You're not hearing anything about Jaylen Brown in the off season, and he's working on his game. He's not doing Gatorade commercials. He's not on TV, except for when he does, a lot of stuff he does in the communities, especially with the Black Lives Matter stuff. Outside of that, you're not really hearing much about Jaylen Brown in the off season because he's working on his game. So where Jayson, I feel, puts a lot of workout videos of him shooting, a lot of 5-on-5s, a lot of commercials, Gatorade commercials, endorsements. I kind of wonder, are we looking at Jayson Tatum right now and looking at Jaylen Brown? And are we really correctly assessing both players? Jaylen Brown, when he gets the ball, gets things done. He's decisive. He doesn't whine, doesn't complain. Even with blowing an 18-point lead, for the most part, Jaylen Brown is a constant team player. Jayson Tatum's a nice guy. Tatum's a generally nice guy for what I see and for what I hear. Very nice guy. Doesn't have the dog in him. Has all the offensive talent in the world. Has a little bit of the ego on him. Doesn't know when to pass the ball in situations. Holds onto the ball a little too much. Doesn't pass the teammates, including Jaylen Brown. Now, they're both pretty even when it comes to offensive talent, if you ask me. I think Jaylen's a much more athletic player, so where Jayson's a little more, when he's not being clumsy, for the most part, he's pretty much crafty. I feel Jayson doesn't work on his game. I think he always tries to accentuate what he does better. instead of looking what he needs to work on as a player. I want I want you guys to understand what I'm saying. We all know Jayson Tatum can hit a fadeaway jumper. We all know Jayson Tatum can hit difficult shots. We all know that he's offensively an elite scorer. But does Jayson Tatum work on his defense? Does Jayson Tatum work on does he work on other things such as his moves, these having different ways to score, using his athleticism in his body to an advantage, being able to get to the rim at will and not allowing anyone to stop him, passing the ball to double team, being able to. He doesn't work on any of that stuff. He's in year 5. He's legitimately, outside of his rookie year, has not gotten better at anything other than scoring. He had one year, the 2020 season, he was actually somewhat decent defensively. But for the most part, he's been horrible defensively, especially this year. I mean, Olay, he's just letting guys go by him. I seen DeRozan go by him. DeRozan, like he's 20 again, going by this dude. Does Jaylen Brown have the popularity that Jayson has? No. But you see that Jaylen gets better every single year. He even got benched one year and came off the bench and balled out off the bench, despite what his numbers might have said overall the season, right? All this dude does is get better at his game. And we're sitting here shitting on Jaylen Brown. But we're not holding Jayson Tatum to the same standard. Jayson Tatum, by all accounts, was always looked at as being the better player than Jaylen coming out of college. But you've seen Jaylen Brown get better and better and better. And Jaylen's looking like the better pro, to where Jayson's looking like the more popular pro, if you know what I mean. So are we paying Jayson Tatum based on potential and being able to put up stats, but overlooking the intangible guy here? Because I have a feeling the Celtics are going to make a bad move because fans are going to pressure them to make a bad move. They're going to trade Brown. Brown's going to go somewhere and not only fulfill, he will overachieve and become an even greater player than we ever thought about imagining Jaylen Brown ever to be. But meanwhile, we get stuck with the Carmelo Jr. over here, who has all the offensive tools, but doesn't get better at anything other than just scoring. And just being popular and just being extremely popular. Are we really going to just let Jaylen Brown go to chase the potential of what Jayson Tatum could really be, when you already got a guy that looks like, if you put the ball in his hands on both ends of the floor, would probably be an MVP candidate at this moment if you didn't have Jayson Tatum on the team. Now, I'm not saying trade Tatum. I'm not saying trade Brown. But are we paying? To me, I feel like we're paying for potential with Jayson Tatum, but we're getting overachieving from Jaylen Brown. And we all know what happens to guys who have talent but don't have a motor. They get surpassed. No. Think about. Let's talk about the 2003 draft for a minute, right? Did anybody really think Dwayne Wade was going to be better than Carmelo Anthony when his career was over? Dwayne Wade went to Marquette. Nobody knew who Dwayne Wade was outside of maybe a tournament run, right? He goes to the NBA and lights it up. Ends up being an NBA champion in his third year, before LeBron, before Carmelo. Obviously, we know LeBron's the best player for that draft, but Dwayne Wade's not far behind. Carmelo had all these offensive tools, couldn't be stopped offensively. He's incredible. But that's all he was good at. Why do you think he's on his 5th or 6th team now? I don't think Jayson Tatum is quite an egomaniac to the extent that Carmelo was in his prime. But Jayson Tatum's dangerously walking the line. And if I'm Tatum right now, I think twice I really look at Jaylen Brown and look at how he's outworking me, and I need to kick my trainer out of there and get me a new trainer. He's gonna tell me what I need to improve on. So I feel like Jayson Tatum has too many yes men around him. Too many yes men around him. People have been telling Jayson he's been great since high school. He's never really ever had to deal with adversity, and he still doesn't really. Even with them losing, he's not getting the blame for this as much as Jaylen is. Jaylen's getting ran out of town right now. Do you pay for potential but get rid of the overachiever? Or do you roll with the overachiever and hope that the underachiever with the most talent ends up not being an underachiever but being an overachiever? Tommy Tibbs said it best. You don't keep waiting for potential to happen, it's never going to end up being what it's going to be. You know, no one's denying Jayson Tatum's an incredible player, but he's an incredible scorer. He's not becoming greater in any other thing. And we're worried about him wearing a Laker jersey in about 5 or 6 years. Like, I'm not worried about that. I care about right now. I don't have, listen, I'm 36 years old. I'm going to be 37 in December, knock on wood. You don't know when the next day is going to be our last. So why would I want to sit here and wait 10 years to see the Celtics win another title? The standard's always been titles in Boston. And waiting for potential is not good enough. Jaylen Brown should not have to go if Jayson Tatum's going to stay. To me, it should be the other way around. That said, though, Jayson's got to get his head out of his ass and work on his game. Neither are going anywhere. But I'm hoping that Brad Stevens doesn't make a move he's gonna regret. To me, Jaylen Brown will need to be the one that has to go. That said, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Subscribe, leave a like, Gold Squad TV. I'm out. Peace.